quite recently I was in the Gambia, and I'm involved in trying to set up a system to transform coastal villages into so-called eco-villages, or so-called people's coast, is what they're trying to do, because the coastal area is being very badly damaged through erosion from destruction of the forest protection, the mangroves and so on. And I participated in just a wondrous meeting of community leaders from each of the 11 villages that are involved in this initiative. And I mean, the sense of ownership, appropriation, a desire to share experience, that can only come through the communities. It's not a bureaucrat with a book who's going to go with a manual who's going to somehow convince people that this is the solution. You have to talk through these solutions. And the problem very often in development, as we all know, is you're looking for fast solutions. You're wanting to make money, seek changes very, very rapidly. But of course communities are not like that, and they take time to digest and they take time to understand. The challenge is to mix your financial instruments. I mean, if you've got budget support, which is the faster way probably of injecting resources into a community, which has many positive sides to it, but also at a very community-based level, you have to use instruments in a different way. When I was working in Tanzania, I had what I called my Martin Luther King moment, when I was going through a village in rural Tanzania, and the village had nothing. It had no infrastructure, no healthcare, no education. And I felt the only way, somehow with all the development tools at the disposal of the European Union and Tanzania, we hadn't succeeded in lifting these very vulnerable people out of abject poverty. So I thought that the answer to this is to create a system whereby the village itself will be empowered to manage its own resources and create wealth and dignity. And that was the origin of a so-called eco-village program, of which probably the best known example now is one in a place called Chilolo, which is a very arid area, which was one of the poorest communities in Tanzania and used to live on handouts from the government, food security. As a challenge to making these people and giving these people a chance of existing in a more serene and dignified way and generating their own resources, we provided a set of inputs, in fact 26 different innovations on food security, on water management, on rural energy and so on. And what happened was it completely transformed the lives of these people. And people came from all over Tanzania and outside Tanzania to see the impact of this program. Now if I look at it 4 years on, this is still a very, very thriving community. There are other eco-villages that are being created in the rest of Tanzania. And the new president in Tanzania has decided, as part of a manifesto which he delivered when he was elected at the end of 2015, to create another 7 eco-villages. So that's an irony. It was a Westerner, in fact myself together with 1 or 2 other colleagues, who created the notion of eco-villages as an answer to helping the most vulnerable communities. To now that technology and that approach and that community-inspired development to be picked up and be transformed into a government-driven process where that tool will be used to bring development to a lot of other people. And I am very proud of that. And in fact, one of the things that I'm trying to do at the moment is to promote this type of approach across Africa, because I'm convinced that so often rural people are the most vulnerable, the most fragile, and the most forgotten. And it's very, very difficult with conventional development tools to reach rural people. For me, the lesson that comes from these 2 experiences, one in Tanzania and one in Ethiopia where I've worked, is that where the European Union can come up with a really good idea, which reflects our passion and our interest and our values, and we succeed in implanting that idea into a different culture, who may apply it in their own way, maybe not necessarily in the way that we would initially have predicted, but it fits the right sort of solution that they find. They will themselves take it on. So we as an institution, I think, should spend much more time on creation of knowledge and ideas and sharing platforms of experiences. And if we provide the right enabling environment, both politically, economically, technically, and so on, if we get it right, we can find partners who will run with those ideas and at the end of the day develop something which is tailor-made to their own interests and their own dreams. Not necessarily what we may have started out wanting to do, but it will be shaped and moulded to fit their own culture. And if we succeeded in doing that, I think we can be very proud as an institution.